Hey guys, how are we today? I'm so glad to see you guys. I started a few minutes early because I'm using Restream now. Remember my last two lives? Um StreamYard kept taking my backgrounds and they raised the price too, and I was like, well, I'll deal with it, but not when they started taking my backgrounds. Y'all feel me? Hey Wolfie, how are you? It's good to see you. And Nicole, how are you? I started watching your live the other day about Sawade, Nicole, and I haven't gotten to finish it yet though. But I remember she's autistic too, right? And bless her heart, I hope they find her too. Um, yeah, he's adorable, Amy. They did, Wolfie. They jacked it way up, and they gave me a deal for 6 months, but my deal was about to run out, and I was still gonna redo it, resubscribe, you know, to monthly. But when it started taking my backgrounds, I was like, no, no way, nope. So we're gonna try this time. I didn't like this one. I tried them before a while back, but it wouldn't let me fix my avatar, so you couldn't see my background. But they're supposed to have it fixed now, so we'll see. Um, Guys, I'm doing good, Wolfie. I missed last week because we were having storms, and anytime that it rains almost my wi-fi goes out, so I didn't want to take that chance with you guys. But we have a really good update. You guys remember that I did a live about a 16-year-old Sophia Franklin, and I'll post it in the chat for you guys if you want to go back and watch it. Hey Ava, how are you? Thank you for coming. So that's my live that I did for Sophia Franklin, and she's been missing since the beginning of February, but it was not the first time she went missing, and it was the second time. And her parents, she had just gotten back home in December, and they knew who took her. 40 year old. And hey Pointer Lover, good to see you. How are you? um Nicole says, me too. I'm hoping we get her up on some billboards in her area this week. Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that. I hope that too. And I'm hoping that you guys get enough for the printed out billboards, because I feel like people pay more attention to those instead of the blip boards. Hey Tony, how are you? It's good to see you. Good afternoon. Um, so yeah, about Sophia. Let me show you guys Sophia. It's gonna take me a little bit to get. I'm gonna take you guys off the screen, and it's gonna take me a little bit to get as quick with this. But this is Sophia, and she had just gotten back home in December when Gary Day had taken her the first time. A 40-year-old Gary Day. And when she came back home in December, she was 3 months pregnant. And the problem was that she's from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, and he is from Arkansas, I believe. So he says that, anyways, the legal age of consent in Arkansas is 16 years old. So they only had him charged with something small for that, because it's just, they need to work on those laws about that. Hey, Miss Arnold, how are you? It's good to see you. And so he was out on bail, and the very first part of February, they had been communicating again, and her parents, you guys, took so many steps to keep them from talking to each other. But you know how teenagers and anybody really is, if there's a will, there's a way. And they Yeah, that's true too, Ava. She says, I like that the printed billboards can be revisited if information is needed within a certain amount of time, of course. Yeah, that's very true too, because if you miss that blip of a few seconds or however many you get, then you won't be able to see it again until it comes back up. That's a very good point too, which I know they're lots more expensive. So, you know, there's that. Yeah, and so anyways, it was February the 2nd, and he came to her house. They caught it on camera, and her sister seen his car in the neighborhood, and that's what they had, a no contact order, of course, and her sister seen Gary's car in her neighborhood. So then they went back looking for Sophia, and she wasn't in her room. So there, Sophia had three. I believe this is the first time that I have seen it. But she had three different Amber Alerts in three different states on different days. As soon as they could get an Amber Alert in that state, they went ahead and got one. So she had three going at the same time. But you guys, a few days ago, they were at a truck stop in Nebraska, her and Gary, and um, a truck driver said, it was a lady truck driver, and she said that the way they were interacting with each other just didn't seem right to her, and so she called it in, and they found them, and Sophia and her baby are good. And you guys, it was on the day her mama did another interview that day because it was Sophia's 17th birthday, and later in the afternoon is when they called her and let her know that it was her. Gary had lied about who he was, but they had a fingerprint computer that they could check out in the field. And I thought that was really cool too. And so they checked his fingerprints and found out, and he got arrested, of course. And after her mama did that, it gives me chills, you guys, to think that on her 17th birthday, after she'd been missing for 2 months, they found her and she's back home. Hey Debbie, good to see you. How are you? I don't know if you saw this, Debbie, but they found Sophia, and her baby are safe. Hey Trista, how are you? It's good to see you. Um Yeah, they found her just a few days ago. Neat Noodle. I try to check for updates each day in my cases, but I hadn't checked yet on her, and Neat Noodle posted about it, and I was so excited. I have a video to show you guys, and we'll watch that first. Let me get it here, and then I'll have to figure out how to share screen with you guys. I did practice. I had been practicing to share screen and stuff with Restream, um, but there's an extra button that I have to press, but I'll get us there. Don't you worry. I'll get us there, guys. Okay, and I know that I have to come back and make it bigger because it's just in that little thing. Okay, now I'll get us there.
And Beaver Dam teenager once the center of an Amber Alert is safe tonight.
Police tell us Sophia Franklin was found nearly 500 miles from home near Omaha, Nebraska. She was found on her 17th birthday. An Amber Alert was issued for Franklin in February. At the time, she was just 16 and 3 months pregnant. Police say a 40-year-old man, Gary Day, the suspect in all of this, is the father of Franklin's unborn child. Investigators say the pair started talking online this time last year. Since February, Amber Alerts were triggered in Wisconsin, Arkansas, and Missouri until last night. Sophia Franklin's mom talked with our Christina Van Zels.
Christina joining us live now. She says her daughter one step closer to coming home.
Yeah, Ben, we talked with Franklin's mom, Leah. She says that her husband is right now making that 7.5-hour drive from here in Beaver Dam to Nebraska to get their daughter. She also says that neither her nor her husband have had it.
I hope this time that they keep him. I don't see how they couldn't, but I hope he goes away for a very, very, very long time, at least until Sophia's baby is old enough to make its own choices of whether it wants to see him or not. And plus, he has two other kids. And remember, guys, that he was charged with hurting the two other kids too. It's coming back to me now. He was charged with hurting his other kid too because he said it got its foot stuck in the sink, but its leg was severely broken. Remember, guys? Miss Elma, it's so good to see you. Thank you so very much for coming by. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, so this guy is a bastard of all bastards. You all know I save the cursing for important times, and this is one of them, I believe.
Have had a chance to talk to their daughter yet, but we did sit down with her to talk about what's next for their family.
My hope was dwindling.
It was 2 months of uncertainty and dozens of tips that led to dead ends. Leah Franklin's daughter, Sophia, who she calls Sophie, was missing from Beaver Dam since February. Until Wednesday, Sophia's 17th birthday.
He's like, they found her, and you just start shaking like you can't believe this is really happening.
Wednesday night, investigators say 2 truck drivers spotted Sophia and Day at a truck stop in Nebraska. The truck drivers told investigators something felt off, so they started a conversation with Sophia. Then they searched the internet for alerts for missing people and found Sophia's Amber Alert.
It just took them noticing that something was off in order to find my girl.
Day was arrested and booked into jail in less than an hour. Leah says their next step is to get Sophia acclimated back home in Beaver Dam.
We have a grandbaby coming, and we are wanting to prepare for that and look forward to brighter days ahead. So
it's still not sunken in, her daughter returning home. Leah says despite dwindling hope, she never lost faith.
I say that there's a lot of evil out there, but there's also a terrific amount of good in people who care.
Yes, guys, that's what I tell you guys all the time, that we can't lose faith. And I know it hurts our feelings sometimes when it was actually a woman pointer lover. It was a woman that found it. Did they just say it was a man? I read it was a woman. But pointer lover, let me tell you my hey man, how are you? It's okay. Pointer lover, I pulled up my notes, and it was in 9/15 of 19. His 4-month-old son Carter went to the hospital, and he said that he got his foot stuck in the drain. But that, along with waiting days to bring the child in, and it had 4 separate injuries to its head and its ears, both him and the child's mother were charged. And then in May 2020, he pleaded guilty and was given only 6 years probation for that. And then in July of 2023, he was charged with second-degree domestic battery against that same child who was 4 years old then. And that little baby said that its dad was he would get mad at him like the Hulk when he was explaining it in the interview when they were interviewing the little boy, and it just broke my heart hearing how he told that. So he should have still been in jail for those too. He shouldn't have even been able to have access to Sophia, you know. So it's 1,000 wonders and God's grace that she and her baby are safe. That's the link to the live I did before about her, if you guys want to check it out.
The Beaver Dam police chief says that none of this would have been possible without the public's help. Reporting live in Beaver Dam, Christina Van Zelst, Fox 6 News.
And Sophia was found at a gas station with a man accused of taking her. That's when a couple of truckers spotted her and thought things were suspicious. We spoke with the lieutenant at Sarpy County's Sheriff's Office and asked, how did the police know this was Sophia and her suspected captor?
They provided false information, some variety of names. Our people were running them through databases, couldn't find them. And then ultimately, we have mobile fingerprint machines we call a mobile APHIS, and we fingerprinted Mr. Day, and then that identified him, and then all of his warrants appeared then, and that's how we positively identified him.
40-year-old Gary Day is now in a jail. He's now charged in Nebraska with false reporting. He's also charged in Dodge County with 2 counts of child abduction and 2 counts of child enticement.
Yes, so I was so very glad when Neat Noodle shared that with me so that I could share it with you guys. I always ask when I'm sharing about missing people that we pray for them to come home safely and that I can give you guys good updates. So I'm always glad to share those with you guys. Um, and as another instance of when he shouldn't have been on the streets to hurt somebody else. And that's what we're going to talk about today, too. It's another one that shouldn't been on the streets allowed to hurt anyone else. I do want to be transparent with you guys, and I had been looking, since I couldn't go live last week because of the storms, I had been looking 2 weeks into the case of Kimani Lateague. She was a 13-year-old from from Ohio, the Cleveland area. It was 3 areas in Ohio, that in Toledo and Columbus. And I had been looking into her case for 2 weeks, and I had a lot to share with you guys. But and her father has been charged with her murder, but her bio mom had done 3 interviews so far that I watched online, and her and the grandmother who had custody, there is a lot of family drama and turmoil there, and I didn't want it to turn into like the Sebastian case, and so I'm waiting for my FOIAs to come back so that I can share all facts with you guys. So I didn't want to do that today, but I do want to talk about an equally important case, another 13-year-old. And but what I wanted to tell you guys is I've only been looking into his case for about 2 days. So I've done as much research as I can, and I've got it in my brain and I've got it in my notes, but I haven't been able to research as many days as I would like to. But I want to talk to him now about you guys. And like I said, it's another case of an instance when this perpetrator should not have been on the streets. And his name is Oscar Omar Hernandez, and his little friends at school called him Omar. And he was a 7th grader at Sun Valley Magnet School in California, and it's all around the Los Angeles area, but there's different, like here, I would just say my town, and it's this area, but Los Angeles is huge, and they have different parts. So there's land, he lived in Sun Valley, and then the perpetrator lived in Lancaster, so those areas. He was really good at soccer. He Some of the little girls in his class, they did interviews, and they said that he would go with them everywhere and take care of them. He was like a protector, and they said he was a really good dancer too. And they said that his sister, let me read the quote from his sister. I want to get it right. She said he had no enemies. He was a good kid. He was always telling his mom he's going to grow up and support them and help them out. She said, my brother was one of those people that would greet anyone. He had no evil in his heart. If he encountered anyone, he would have a conversation with them and be friends with that person. And him and his family, they immigrated from Honduras about 3 years ago for a better life. And his mama said that he was so excited because he was about to get his visa so he could travel back to Honduras and visit his family. And I thought at first, you guys, that I wasn't hearing a lot about this case because he was an immigrant. And then I just found out that takes me to his love of soccer. He met a soccer coach about 3 months ago, and the soccer coach that he met, he was an undocumented immigrant from El Salvador. And I only saw that part. I've been having trouble finding information about the soccer coach, and I've had grateful middle-aged cat mama that she comes here. She's one that helps me moderate. And Foxy, they were trying to help me find even photos of him, and I was having a hard time. And his name is Mario Eduardo Garcia Aquino. And I don't know, you guys. I only found in one article just today in the LA Times. In the LA Times, it's hard to get into because they want you to pay for it, and then you have to click a bunch of links and stuff. So it was hard to get into. But the article was just from yesterday, and it said that Mr. Mario was an undocumented immigrant from El Salvador. So I was thinking, well, maybe that's why I didn't hear about it. But I don't know, you guys. Immigration is a lot to do with politics, and we don't talk about politics here, but it just makes me sad because I just feel like that's maybe why we're not hearing a lot about Oscar's case. Yeah, but but even though that he was an undocumented immigrant, Mario, he had been a soccer coach for 10 years, and I don't know if that meant he had been a soccer coach in El Salvador and here for 10 years, or if he had lived here for 10 years. But he was a coach for a traveling soccer team called the Hurricane Valley Boys Soccer Club in the Sylmar area. And he just met Oscar about 3 months ago. And on Friday, the 28th, his family dropped him off at the San Fernando Valley Metrolink station at 7 p.m. And Mario had told him that KTLA 5, I think I did find some articles from them. Is that the local channel, Elma? I'm subscribed to, if I see a case and I subscribe to their local stations, that's how I found of this case, because one of those, I must have subscribed to one of the local ones before, and so it popped up, and that's how I find a lot that a lot of people wouldn't see unless it was on like News Nation and stuff like that, so that's how I found out about Oscar in the first place. Yeah, so on Friday, his coach asked him to come. Remember, his sister said that he wanted to have his own money and help out his parents and stuff. And so this coach, you guys, Mr. Mario, told Oscar that if he came to his house and helped him paint jerseys, that he would pay Oscar for it, give him some spending money, So his family dropped him off at 7 p.m. Oh, you guys, and he has two brothers that I know of, at least Jose and Daniel, and then he has a sister, Alejandra. And his brother Jose said that he hadn't wanted Oscar to go, but when he had left, and when he got back home, Oscar had already left. And so they take him to the Metrolink and stuff, and then Jose said that he had it on his heart that he should call and check in on Oscar. And you guys know we have intuitions like that, and I feel like that's what this was. And so Jose tried to call about 9 p.m. and check on his brother, and that Mario said that Oscar couldn't talk because he had paint on his hands. And he said he did not get a good feeling about that. But on Saturday, the next day, the coach was supposed to drive him home that morning. But Saturday afternoon, the coach said he told the family when they called that Oscar had overslept and so that he would drop him off. However, Oscar never arrived, and he never answered any of the family's calls, and they tried to Google his location and or tried to use Google. I'm not sure if they had, I don't think they had that 360 app, but I guess you can check locations on people's phones with Google somehow. But they said that it wasn't giving them an exact address of the location, that it was just saying California. And so he wasn't answering any of their calls, so they texted him. And Oscar replied back. He said, "I'm going to a party." And his brother Jose said, "You can't go. We don't give you permission to go." And but then he texted his family back that he was in North Hollywood, and he was and they wouldn't let his family come pick him up. And those were the last texts that they got from him, from his phone. And they searched for him all through Saturday night, and they couldn't find him. And after they contacted all of his friends and found out there really wasn't a party, and after the coach wouldn't answer any of their calls, that Sunday morning they reported him missing. And Alejandra said that the coach was even helping them look for him. How many times have we seen a case, you guys, where the perpetrator is so bold to show their face around the family and to even help them look? Like, no, that makes me so mad, you guys. Hey, Wilby, how are you? Thank you for coming by. We're talking about another young teenager killed by a perpetrator that shouldn't have been out on the street. So, what's new, huh, buddy? But it's good to see you. And so that was on Sunday, they reported him missing. And on Tuesday, the robbery homicide unit took over of the LAPD. And it said, let me tell you it said they used data from cellular devices, cell phone towers, and other tracking systems, and determined that the suspect, the coach, had visited the Oxnard area near McGrath State Beach and the Santa Clara River. Let me show you guys. Let me show you guys what that area looks like a little. And they had a feeling about the coach anyways. The day that they found Oscar's body, that's when they let me show you guys some pictures of Oscar too. The day that they found his body was the same day that they questioned the coach, and they arrested him the exact same day. Hey, NorCal, good to see you. He says, one of the few adults you should be able to trust are the coaches. He took advantage of that role, and this poor boy was the victim, in my opinion. Well, that's my opinion too, buddy. Yep, so this is Oscar. Bless him. Such a cute little fella, you guys. Yeah. And this is the area that they were led to by the cellular devices and things like that. So they seen that the coach had been there. And once they found Oscar's remains, they arrested the coach the same day. But it wasn't for Oscar's murder, you guys. It was for it was actually for something that happened in 2024. Oh, guys, hang on a minute. I have to make that bigger. I forgot. There we go. It's the extra button I have to keep remembering to push. But it was for something that happened in 2024. And they charged him with, let me get the exact charges. It was for assault with intent to commit a lewd act against a 16-year-old in Palm pomade. That was on February the 22nd of 24. And we're going to listen to the press conference and it'll tell us a little bit more about it. But a family, he was the coach for that 16-year-old, I believe, and the family let him go spend the night with the coach, I believe. And it was something about like what happened here, in my opinion. And when they found out what happened, they did arrest the coach, but charges were never filed for some reason. And to hear the sheriffs talk about it, they said that they were working on it, but they didn't have enough to press charges yet. But that's their tale, and I sit on mine. But anyways, but what about this Hurricane Valley Boys Soccer Club? They had to know what happened. They had to have known from the boy's parents, probably, and the police. So why did they still let him teach these youngins soccer? You know, and that wasn't the first time, you guys. I also found in another article in 2022 that something else like this happened, but in that instance, the victim didn't want to testify and things like that. But still, so 22 and 24, something like that happens. So let me show you guys this video first. And this is his family a little bit more and tells a little bit more about what happened.
I don't understand anything. That's what the brother of 13-year-old Oscar Hernandez keeps crying to those trying to console him. The teen's family says his body was found by authorities in Oxnard on Wednesday after they reported him missing on Sunday. It's very painful, says Alejandra Hernandez, Oscar's older sister. A translator helped tell Oscar's story.
He was a really ambitious boy. He didn't have no bad, he didn't have no enemies. He was a good kid, and he was always telling his mom how he was gonna grow up and support them and help them out.
Alejandra tells us Oscar's father dropped him off here at this metro station just after 7 p.m. on Friday. Oscar was supposed to take a train up to Lancaster to meet his soccer coach, who he met at Whitsett Park in North Hollywood, where he played soccer in an after-school program.
This is a soccer coach, and he was telling him that he had jerseys, and I guess he could sponsor him with other different jerseys, that they could kind of supply him with for doing soccer. That's kind of the reason why he went.
Alejandra tells us the last time.
So used that this little fella wanted to work and have his own money. He used that to lure him to his house. That makes me sick too, you guys. You know how hard it is to get young teenagers to want to do work or chores or anything at home. And this little fella was wanting to go do that. And then looked how this bastard took advantage of that. Well, we know that he's just all innocent until proven guilty and stuff like that. I gotta say that, but you all feel me. There's no doubt, in my opinion, in my eyes.
Time the family spoke with Oscar was later that night. He said the plan was for the coach to drop him off at home the next morning. But the only communication they got from Oscar on Saturday was around 6 p.m. via text.
Supposedly it was from him, saying that he was going to go to a party after or something, like a little festival, like a gathering kind of. And then they told him, no, you don't have permission to do that. Come back here, we'll pick you up at Westside Park or something around the area. And then after he just said, I'm going to be in the North Hollywood area. Yeah, that's the last thing they heard from him, those messages, basically, yeah.
Alejandra says the soccer coach told the family he had dropped Oscar off in Sun Valley between 2 and 3 p.m. on Saturday.
And supposedly he didn't remember where the spot was, so which was just kind of giving him a runaround, saying, oh, I think I dropped him off here or here.
On Sunday, the Hernandez family reported Oscar missing to the LAPD. Their robbery homicide division took the lead in the search with help from the FBI. The LAPD tells
I do have to say that I'm glad that the FBI did start helping from the beginning and that the robbery homicide unit did take over so quickly. I am glad for that because it was 2 days after the initial report that they took over, but that doesn't erase what happened in 22 and 24 that they said when the report was made in 2024 that Mario was arrested, and that this is where I was talking about all those different units in Los Angeles. They discovered that a different station, I think, in Los Angeles was investigating for the 2022 incident too. And I know that there's computers and stuff that would pull that straight up, and I'm just really upset that this little boy lost his life. Oh, you guys, I also want to mention that at the bottom of my screen on my ticker, there's numbers for you to call. If you have any information about Oscar's death, or if you unfortunately haven't been a victim of Mario's, they want you to call these numbers. And they're also in my description. And I also made a community post where I shared this live stream. And in the comment section, these numbers are under there too. And they said that they want to make a point that if you're undocumented, not to be afraid, that they're not even going to ask about that, that they're wanting more victims to come forward. So I also wanted to mention that too. Okay.
Us their investigation took them to an area in Oxnard, and after a foot search, they found a body that matched the description of the missing teen. Investigators say the cause of death is still undetermined, and they are actively looking for the person or people responsible. Alejandra says her family is praying for the person responsible for her brother's death to be brought to justice.
That there is a God out there, and he had, like, you know, that, like, there's God watching, and he's watching everything, and that man had no mercy at all for her brother, you know.
Rachel Kim, KCAL News.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago.
Yeah, Jim, my comment, we have to, I don't have children like I tell you guys, but my niece, she was around us all the time growing up, and she's 25 now, but we have to teach our children to listen to their guts if they have bad feelings and stuff, and they don't need to be polite. If they have a bad feeling, they don't need to we don't need to teach our children that they have to hug everybody. Like, I was thinking back when, my family, thankfully, you guys know I've experienced DV, but thankfully I've not experienced any SA or anything like that, and or child SA or anything like that. And my family was really good to me. But before we would leave my mama and my papa's house, my mom would tell me to give everybody hugs and my uncle and stuff. And I was just thinking back, these days I wouldn't tell my kids to do that if they didn't want to. I wouldn't make them, and if they didn't feel comfortable, then they shouldn't have to. And we need to pay attention to that, because if children are getting those feelings, we need to ask why. Trista says, always pay attention to your surroundings, no matter where you're at, even if it's at a friend's house. Yep, absolutely. Jim says, these predators have a way of making the kids feel special when they pay attention to them sick. Yep. That's a very good point too. They show attention to these kids that may not get it at home, or even if they do get it at home, you're right. They know what to do, and it's absolutely sickening. Now, you guys, I had this live all planned out, and then yesterday or early this morning, I was up looking again, and that's when I found out that they've had the coach in jail since they found Oscar's body for the 2024 incident. And then yesterday, they're on a different time zone than me. So before I went to sleep, I was looking again and found out they did press charges against Mario. And that's good, Van. That's really, really good. She says, exactly. My daughter didn't have to hug anyone. If she said no, it was no. I didn't care who got offended. Yep. Yep. That's what I'm saying. We don't have to care who it offends. That's exactly right. Because once these children lose their innocence, that's something, unfortunately, that we can't give back to them. So once it's done, it's done. So yesterday on the 7th, they did press charges for Mario, and it's with special circumstances. So that does mean that it carries the death penalty now, and it was the special circumstances is allegation of murder during the commission or attempted commission of lewd acts with a child. So that's what puts the death penalty on the table. Let me read you guys what the district attorney posted yesterday, and then we'll watch the press conference. Let me see here. Okay. It says teen's body was found in Ventura County after he was reported missing. Wilby says these predators are also good at finding these kids that are in need of attention, and they take advantage of their weakness. Yeah, that's so true, unfortunately, buddy. It says Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hopeman announced that a young youth soccer coach was charged today with murdering 13-year-old Oscar Omar Hernandez, whose body was found by the side of the road in Ventura County last week. No parent should ever have to endure the unimaginable pain and sorrow of learning their child has been murdered, he said. Oscar simply boarded a train, and little did he or his family know that he would never return. Sexual predators who target victims for their own gratification will be held accountable and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Well, I just have to say here, what about the two previous victims? He wasn't held accountable and prosecuted then, right? We do have to say that. Let's see here. On behalf of the Los Angeles Police Department, I want to extend our deepest condolences to the family of Oscar Omar Hernandez, said LAPD Chief Jim McDowell. While we all hoped for a different outcome, the tireless work of multiple law enforcement agencies has ensured that this dangerous individual is off the streets and is no longer a threat to our children and our communities. While this may do little to ease the family's pain, please know that we are fully committed to pursuing justice for their son. I just have to say again, in 22 and 24, since then, how many other Oscars are there out there that just didn't get murdered or didn't feel they were ashamed and they couldn't tell their parents? You know, how many other children has he hurt? I can almost bet the farm that the 3 that we know of, that there's more, you know. Hey, grateful middle-aged cat mama, how are you? I was telling everybody that you were helping me look for this. That's out the way that Grateful lives, and she was trying to help me find more information about this coach, and I couldn't even find his picture to put out there until last night, early this morning. And when I found that he was charged, I was glad about that. Me and Foxy were trying to look up his picture so that we could put it out there to warn people, just in case that he was back on the streets and not charged for Oscar's murder yet, so we could warn people. That's what we were wanting to do, but we couldn't even find his pictures until yesterday. It says, there is no excuse for these types of crimes, said Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna. We will continue to pursue justice and work tirelessly. Oh, I think I already read that, you guys. Mario Eduardo Garcia Aquina was charged in case number with 1 count of murder with special circumstances, allegation of murder during the commission or attempted commission of lewd acts with a child, making him eligible for the death penalty. He is expected to be arraigned tomorrow, and that was today, you guys. And I looked before I came online, but I couldn't see what happened yet, so it may be later in the day. It says on March 30th, the teen was reported missing by his family after he boarded a train to Lancaster to visit Garcia Aquino and wasn't heard from again. Garcia Aquino is accused of killing Oscar and then dumping his body in Oxnard. Garcia Aquino faces a possible maximum sentence of death or life in prison without the possibility of parole. A decision on whether to seek the death penalty will be made at a later date. He has also been charged in case number with one felony count of assault with the intent to commit a sexual offense. Garcia Aquino is accused of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old boy in Palmdale on February 22nd, 2024. If convicted as charged, he faces the maximum possible sentence of 6 years in state prison on that case. The case is being prosecuted by deputy district attorneys of the Sex Crimes Division. It remains under investigation by the Los Angeles Police Department and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. And it says additional victims or anyone with information is asked to contact the Los Angeles Police Department's Juvenile Division, and it leaves the numbers and everything. And those are the numbers that I have across the bottom of my ticker, and also in my description, and also in the comments of my community post, you guys. So I want to make sure to stress that. There is also a video that I had to watch. In these cases, I also tried to watch the Spanish speaking channels, and often they have information before the others do. And there was a I'm going to try to play this for us, and this one, some of them don't translate. It doesn't do the translated captions, but this one did when I checked it earlier. So I want to play it for you guys and get it so it'll translate for us, because it says, but this is the only time I've heard it, is that it says that the medical examiner told the family that that Oscar had tons of alcohol in his system. Well, at that time, they hadn't positively identified it as Oscar, because I'm sure they have to do DNA and stuff like that. But everybody knew it was Oscar. But it said that that the body that they found had a lot of alcohol in his system, but this is the only place I've heard it. So if you guys can read it along, and then also I will stop for you guys that are just listening, and I'll summarize what it said so we can watch it that way, and then we'll play the press conference.
Con este caso de Oscar Omar Hernández, el niño de 13 años de edad que había desaparecido desde el fin de semana pasado y que luego 5 días después de no tener rastro de él, apareció sin vida en un paraje allí en una carretera en Oxnard.
Okay, guys, hang on a second. I'm going to have to take my ticker down. Let me see here. Like I told you guys, I'm using Restream for the first time today. And I added the ticker somewhere, so I should be able to remove it somewhere. Oh, I found it. Okay, so some of the words, it doesn't show translation, but I'm hoping that it shows us. I hope that that it shows us the really relevant part that I wanted to show you guys.
En Telemundo 52 hemos venido siguiendo de cerca esta historia y Luis Zaragoza nos presenta mayores detalles y actualización de este caso. Luis, buenas tardes.
Alejandra, buenas tardes. Bueno, mientras siguen llegando las muestras de solidaridad a este pequeño altar, hoy obtuvimos información y es algo que la familia ya sospechaba. Fuentes de Telemundo 52 confirman que las autoridades han cuestionado y detenido a la misma persona que los familiares identificaron como el entrenador de fútbol. Esta persona fue arrestada por otro caso que no está relacionado al de Oscar Omar.
Él nomás quería un dinero.
Look at his brother, you guys. Even if you can't understand the words, like you can tell how upset his brother. That's Jose. That's his brother that said that he had such a bad feeling and tried to call him at 9 o'clock that night. And Mario told him that his hands were full of paint and he couldn't answer. But we don't need to know what he's saying to see how upset he is. Bless him.
Mientras tanto, y sin poder contener el llanto, Joshua Hernández pide justicia por la muerte de su hermano, Omar Hernández, de 13 años de edad. El cuerpo del menor fue encontrado en un...
And that's his mama, and they said that when she was there that she was saying that why did they have to treat her son like an animal?
un área cerca de la ciudad de Oxnard el pasado miércoles.
Vamos a luchar porque sea justicia. Porque no puede quedar y no pueden andar muchos criminales en la calle, pues, que hacen eso con los niños. Y peor un niño de 13 años, pues, que es un inocente, un niño inocente, pues. Él no se metía con nadie.
It said that he's saying that there's criminals on our streets and a poor 13-year-old boy.
En entrevista con la familia mencionaron que Oscar Omar había conocido al entrenador en una cancha de fútbol hace unos 3 meses, ya que deseaba ser parte de un equipo. Fue el pasado viernes cuando salió de su casa de San Valen, ya que el coach lo había invitado a trabajar para pintar camisetas deportivas. Su hermano Joshua nos dijo que trató de hablar con Omar el sábado pasado durante el día, ya que no había llegado a casa el viernes por la noche.
A él yo lo llamé porque me entró algo en mi corazón. Yo lo llamé y a Omar, yo llamé a Omar, no al coach, llamé a Omar y me contestó el coach y me dijo, ahorita no puede volar Omar, me dijo.
He said that they called him Omar.
Está sucia las manos.
De acuerdo a la familia, la oficina del médico forense se comunicó con ellos y los resultados preliminares que escucharon sobre la autopsia los dejaron sin palabras.
Nos dijeron ayer por la noche que el niño le encontraron mucho alcohol en su orina. El niño está demasiado alcoholizado.
It says that the child encountered much alcohol that night. So that was the part that I wanted to show you guys. This was the only part that I've heard it. Nowhere else that he had a lot of alcohol in his system. So that's the words that I read at the bottom. A lot of this doesn't translate well, but that I did see. So he gave Omar a bunch of alcohol. Bastard.
Las investigaciones se encuentran en manos de la policía de Los Ángeles con asistencia de agentes del FBI, quienes hasta el momento no han detallado más información sobre este caso.
So that's what I wanted to show you guys about that. Now we'll watch the press conference. The press conference was let me see here. The press conference was let me see here. Oh, that's not it. Hang on just a second, guys. The press conference was in English, of course, but then they had the family come up and ask them questions in Spanish, of course, but they cut it off before that they showed us what they said. Let me see here. No, that's not it. I didn't mark it good, guys. Hang on just a second and I'll get it for us. Okay, I got it. I'm coming back, guys. Yeah, I wish they would have kept playing it so that we could translate and hear from the family too. That's like with Katya Duenas Aguilar. Their whole press conference they did, a lot of it was in Spanish, so I had to and it was on Facebook, so it wouldn't translate on here for me, so I had to download it from Facebook and then upload it privately to hear and then translate it. So that's how I had to do that one for you guys.
For joining us today. My name is Nathan Hochman. I'm the District Attorney of Los Angeles County. Up here with me, we were joined by Los Angeles Police Chief Jim McDonnell, Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna. Also at the podium is FBI Special Agent in Charge Ted Dox, LAPD Assistant Chief Blake Chow, LAPD Deputy Chief Head of Detectives Alan Hamilton. From the District Attorney's Office, we had Head Deputy of Major Crimes Craig Hume, along with Deputy District Attorneys Paul Thompson and Negin Mostadim. Also with me, directly to my left, are Oscar Omar Hernandez's sister, Alejandra Hernandez, his mother, Gladys Bautista, and Oscar's father, Oscar Daniel Hernandez. Today I am announcing the charge of murder with special circumstances against Mario Edgardo Garcia Aquino, who's 43 years old. Mr. Garcia Aquino murdered 13-year-old Oscar Omar Hernandez on March 28, 2025. And when I say that charges have been brought, I want to make it clear that charges themselves are not evidence, that a defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty in a court of law. The charges allege that Mario Edgardo Garcia Aquino, on that date of March 28, 2025, murdered Omar Hernandez in Lancaster. Mr. Garcia Aquino was his soccer coach. And on that day, Omar Hernandez went up to Lancaster to see Mr. Garcia Aquino. 2 days later, he was reported missing. And on April 2nd, 2025, last week, his body was found in Oxnard off a road near Leo Carrillo State Beach. We have also announcing the charges, again, separate charges, against Mr. Garcia Aquino from a February 22nd, 2024 felony of assault with intent to commit a lewd act against a different individual, a 16-year-old young man in Palmdale. Mr. Garcia Aquino faces at least life without the possibility of parole on the murder charge and 6 years in prison with respect to the felony count of assault with intent to commit a lewd act. These cases are tragic, and the Hernandez family, you have our deepest sympathy for a loss that words cannot even begin to describe. Our role, though, is to bring justice to this family and to hold the person responsible for these brutal, heinous, unspeakable.
What about the other two victims? What about justice for them? Why didn't we? And so, you guys, it was a year. That other, it said, one article I read said that they hadn't, the DA they arrested him when the incident happened that February 22nd of last year, but they didn't press charges. It seems like with that, and then the allegations from 2022, I just really felt they could have done something before this tragedy happened, you guys.
Unthinkable acts, hold them accountable, and prosecute and punish them to the full extent of the law. Now, as part of this investigation, we are asking that if there are any potential victims of Mr. Garcia Aquino, and they're out there, that we have put his picture out with our press release. And we are asking anyone with information or any victims to come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department's Juvenile Division Abused Child Unit, and they can call 818-374-5415, or the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Special Victims Bureau at 877-710-5273. And if anyone wants to come forward anonymously, they can come forward by phone to the Los Angeles Regional Crime Stoppers hotline at 800-222-8477. I'd like to now introduce Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna to say some words.
Thank you, Mr. Hochman, and good afternoon to everybody. Being up here, presenting this information is never easy, but on behalf of the men and women of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, very sorry for your loss. Lo sentimos mucho de todo lo que pasó. I'm here today specifically seeking additional victims on a child sexual abuse case involving 43-year-old Mario Garcia Aquino from the Palmdale area. Garcia Aquino was a youth travel soccer coach with the Hurricane Valley Boys Soccer Club in the Sylmar area.
And there's a youth travel soccer coach. So when I hear about like traveling softball teams and stuff like that, they take the kids all over. And that worries me too, because how many times has he taken these kids out of town without their parents? You know, and he's been a soccer coach for 10 years, like I said, and I don't know if all of that has been in California or if some of that was in El Salvador before he immigrated here. But either way, that's thousands of children he's came in contact with. And if nothing else, this Hurricane Valley Boys Soccer Club, they should have terminated him in 2024, terminated his not terminated him, which, you know, I don't care very much, but they should have terminated his contract then. You all feel me?
Working with different age divisions. He had no reported criminal history. In February of 2024, Garcia Aquino befriended a Sylmar family who allowed their juvenile son to stay with him at his residence in Palmdale. The family subsequently filed a criminal report with the Palmdale Sheriff's Station, alleging sexual abuse of their child. This case was assigned to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Special Victims Bureau, North Team, who is tasked with investigating both physical and sexual abuse of children, including adult felonious sexual assaults. During the investigation and while working with the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office from the Antelope Valley Courthouse, detectives learned that there was another unrelated child sexual abuse case being handled by the Los Angeles Police Department's Foothill Division involving Garcia Aquino. On April 2nd, 2025, the new information from both the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department cases, the District Attorney's Office filed one felony count of assault with intent to commit a sexual offense on Mario Garcia Aquino. Based on the nature of the offenses, Special Victims Bureau detectives believe there may be additional victims. Anyone with information regarding this case or who believes that they may have been a victim is urged to contact the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Special Victims Bureau at 877-710-5273, or you can contact any of your local sheriff stations. I just want to make an additional comment to that because we're really urging anybody in the public, once you see the photos of this individual, that if you may have been a victim, please come forward. I know it's not easy. I know it could be either embarrassing, you don't want to tell somebody, but it's very important that we bring justice not only to the family here to my left, but any families that may have been victimized by this. And I want to add an additional comment that if for some reason anybody fears coming forward, even as a youth or a family, because you may be here undocumented, we're not going to ask about that. Please, you need to come forward. We will assist you, whether it's our department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the LA County District Attorney's Office. Any of us are going to wrap our arms around you and make sure that you get the appropriate services, we guide you the right way, and we protect you as well. Thank you very much.
Now I'd like to call up Los Angeles Police Department Chief Jim McDonald.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, and thank you for your continued attention and coverage on this deeply tragic case. Before I begin, I want to just take a moment to acknowledge the profound loss endured by the family of Oscar Omar Hernandez. On behalf of the Los Angeles Police Department, I extend our deepest condolences. And while no words can lessen their grief, please know that we're fully committed to pursuing justice for their son. I'd also like to extend my appreciation to our partners whose combined efforts led to today's charges. Thank you to the District Attorney, the FBI, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the Ventura County Sheriff's Department, and the Ventura County Coroner for the help that they provided. I also want to particularly thank LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and LAPD's Major Crimes Division for the time, patience, and expertise that they dedicated to this case. While we all hoped for a different outcome, their hard work has helped ensure that this dangerous individual is no longer a threat to the public. When this was a missing persons case that RHD picked up and put everything they had into it, brought in Major Crimes, and the resources with all of our partners here left no stone unturned. And so I'm thankful for the collaboration that we see here and the ability we have to be able to mobilize on a case like this that is so tragic, and to be able to get some level of closure. And as Sheriff Luna mentioned, I share the same sentiments. If anybody is a victim out there, please come forward. There are no obstacles.
I feel it might be resolution, but not closure. I don't feel like we can ever say closure with the missing or murdered, especially when it's children. So resolution, but not closure.
And we will treat it as sensitively as it needs to be treated, but justice should be served in this. So I won't go into the details of the case. That's already been talked over here, but any questions you have, I'll kick it back to the District Attorney. Thank you all.
So we will now take, myself, Sheriff Luna, and Chief McDonald will now take questions. After we're done taking questions, Maria Ramirez, where are you? Over there. For the Spanish media, Maria Ramirez will then give a brief overview of what we've been doing and then takes questions in Spanish as well.
Attorney, before we begin, will the family say anything?
Not at this press conference.
Luz Delia Caballero with CBS KCAL. Question for Sheriff Luna or yourself. Specifically for that assault charge back in February of 2024, did it happen in February of 2024, or was it initially reported in February of 2024?
I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'll turn it up a little bit since it's hard to hear the news anchors, but she just asked about the assault that happened in 2024, and he's about to tell her that it occurred February 22nd of 2024, and I'm not sure if they say it here, but Mario was arrested, and I guess that I don't know if he had a bond or what, but they didn't end up pressing charges, but he was arrested, so I was wondering about that.
The date at which it happened, as the charges reflect, is February 22nd, 2024, and that's in Palmdale.
What can you tell us about the circumstances surrounding the arrest? Was there cooperation? Where did it happen?
The arrest, again, with respect to how the individual was arrested so quickly, in some respects, after the March 28th murder, those investigative techniques will be discussed in the appropriate court when we present the additional evidence that shows that Mr. Garcia-Aquino committed this murder, as well as the additional acts of which he's been charged.
At his home, though, District Attorney, where was he arrested? Where was he taken into custody?
I believe it, and I'll check if I might with Chief Hamilton.
Good afternoon, Alan Hamilton, Chief of Detectives, LAPD. He was taken into custody in the city of Los Angeles, and he was then subsequently transferred to the custody of the Sheriff's Department.
Was he at work, Alan?
He was not at work.
When it comes to talking about additional victims, do those additional victims include perhaps missing children who you fear may have met a similar demise?
We don't predetermine who the additional victims of this particular defendant are, but by putting his picture out there and having this press conference as well, and hopefully using the tools that you'll be able to use to get our message out far and wide, we are seeking anyone who recognizes this particular individual as someone that victimized them to come forward to law enforcement. Whether, again, they want to come forward anonymously, come forward to any police department or sheriff's station.
Jim, I forgot, and I did put it in my description too. They did say that that victims could contact them anonymously too, so that they may do that instead. And it's at lacrimestoppers.org, and you can't click on it here in my description for some reason, but you can click on it in my community post. But it's lacrimestoppers.org.
Or use the call-in numbers.
But are we looking at potential missing children cases that possibly could be linked to this? Sheriff?
We're looking at everything. And that's why if it's kind of unique for, it's the district attorney's press conference, but you see us up here in partnership with LAPD, with the FBI. We're working with every agency, and that's why we're really pleading with the community that if you know anything, you've heard anything, or maybe you think somebody's missing, or loved one's missing, call us. Let us check. Let us check all the information. You have the most amazing detectives from all of our agencies that are capable, very capable, and they'll all be working on it.
I'm just trying to interpret this, Sheriff. Is it that you're confident there are additional victims, or you fear there are additional victims, or both?
I would say both at this time. There's always a fear that there's more victims, and we want to make sure that we account for everybody that's out there.
That was a good question too, you guys, and my stomach dropped the first time that I heard her ask that. She said, are they looking at additional missing children that he could have harmed? Oh my gosh, you guys, just think. Hopefully, oh man. Well, they were able to track his cell phone and cell phone towers and stuff, and that's how they found Oscar's body. So hopefully, if there is any more evidence out there like that, that they can make those connections too. But what if, you guys, there's so many missing children. We all know about it. We look at it every single day, and especially in California, there's the most missing children in California, I believe. I haven't looked at statistics, but it makes sense in my mind that it is. So just imagine how many possibilities there are out there that this predator could have harmed or killed, you know?
Arrested on that earlier sexual assault case, but he wasn't charged. Can you speak to that, to the difficulty of it? And also, we're talking about the most vulnerable citizens, children who cannot protect themselves. Where is the system failing that this child was not protected?
So he was arrested. When he was arrested, it was actually on the February 2024 charge, because that was the first charge that was brought forward. Today, he was actually charged with the murder charge for March 28th. So again, as far as dealing with the most vulnerable victims, we agree with you. Part of the reason for this press conference is to get the message out to the victims and even their families, that if they have been victimized by this particular individual, Mr. Garcia Aquino, to come forward in order to bring justice to not just the Hernandez family, but to every family that has been victimized by this individual.
But if he had been arrested on that earlier alleged offense, he wouldn't have been on the streets, and he certainly would not be working as a coach.
In order to develop the evidence for any particular offense, as we will be providing in court, it doesn't happen overnight.
So she was asking him about the 2024 assault too. And he's about to tell her that, and she told him, she said, well, he wouldn't have been out on the streets if he was, remember that charge from 2024, he faces 6 years in prison. So he would have definitely been behind bars, but he's about to tell her that it takes time to gather evidence and things like that. But it's been over a year.
So even though that original offense occurred back in February of 2024, that started approximately within weeks of that particular investigation. But you have to actually go through all the different parts of an investigation before you ever get to an arrest warrant. You know, we want, in every single case, we want justice to be as speedy as possible, but we got to get it right. And we have to make sure that at the time we end up charging someone, we have the evidence to prove it. So when we filed and got the arrest warrant on the earlier case, he was actually arrested, and unfortunately he had committed this case as well.
District Attorney, you said murder with special circumstances, so you've opened up the avenue for the death penalty to pursue that?
So yes, the death penalty is eligible. He is eligible under a murder with special circumstances charge for either life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. We have recently instituted a new death penalty policy in which we will be evaluating whether or not the death penalty is appropriate for this particular case.
Can you talk about Oscar's death? How was he killed? We haven't heard from the coroner's office.
I think I can speak to that. We haven't heard from the coroner's office. At the point at which that information becomes public, we will certainly share it with the public. But we don't have the actual details of how he was killed at this exact moment, nor do we have all the reports that will come in when the coroner produces his or her reports.
Are you able to offer more details as to how you found the body?
Not at this time. The certain investigative techniques were used to both find the body and find the murder of Omar Hernandez within days. Those investigative techniques and the evidence that came from them will be shared in court at the appropriate time.
The suspect and the victim, both minorities. Does that make your job more difficult because certain people can sort of exist in the shadows? Can you speak to that?
Sheriff, do you want to speak to that one?
This is specifically why I mentioned the fact that if somebody is afraid to come forward because they're afraid of what may happen to them because they may be undocumented, that needs to go away. Here, no matter what your documentation status is, we have a young man that was killed, murdered. That matters. And it should matter to everyone else out there. And that's why we're urging the public, whether we fear of it or we think there's other victims, whatever the circumstances may be, whether you speak the language or you don't, I don't care where you come from, please come forward, let us know right away. But you do ask a good question because people are afraid. And that's why we're out here, we're embracing this and saying, please come forward. We will assist you. We will bring people forward that speak the language, the right services, so we embrace it.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. Now, Maria Ramirez.
So he was reassuring people at the end again that if you don't speak English, that they'll have translators and things like that. And this is about a child's murder and more victims. And they say that they're not going to ask about your immigration status. And I just feel in my heart that they won't. I know that times are uncertain right now, but I feel they'll stick to their word. If nothing else, they'll want people to come forward in the future. So I really believe that on my heart. There's one more video that I want to show you guys before we get to the good news part. We had good news at the beginning that Sophia was found, but I have one more video that I want to show you guys is Omar's classmates. They're talking a little bit more about him, and you guys know that besides bringing awareness for the missing and murdered on my channel, that I like to bring more about how the victims were in life. That's my two main goals. And so I wanted to share this one other video with you guys about his classmates talking about him. And like I told you guys, I had everything set up for my live yesterday, and I checked one more time last night, and I found out that Mario had been charged. So I'm so very glad that I could add that to our live for today too. I'm so very glad about that.
San Fernando Valley teenager who was found dead in Oxnard. Friends and family are remembering 13-year-old Oscar Omar Hernandez as detectives piece together the circumstances behind his mysterious death. NBC4's Macy Jenkins is live for us in Sun Valley with the latest. Macy.
Well, Carolyn, friends and family gathered in two different locations to remember 13-year-old Oscar Omar Hernandez, one here outside of his home and the other near the location where his body is believed to have been discovered yesterday. But what happened to him, still a big question mark for all those who loved him. Thursday marked an evening of prayer in both Sun Valley and in Oxnard as friends and family of 13-year-old Oscar Omar Hernandez gathered in two places to remember him.
Oscar is a person you can count on.
Yes, they had a memorial set outside of his apartment, and then they also had a memorial at the place where his body was found, and he had a big turnout in both places, and they don't, I haven't found a GoFundMe yet, but when I do, they said that they were taking donations outside of his apartment at that vigil. But when I find a GoFundMe, I'll let you guys know, because like I always say, at your own discretion, look into it. But I always do post the family's GoFundMe, but I just realized that I hadn't seen one for them yet. Hey, Sunday to Doodles, how are you? It's so good to see you.
Courageous, amazing, wonderful person. I can go days telling you about him. He comes into the room and he brights everybody's day.
According to Oscar Omar's family, his father dropped him off at the train station in Pacoima on Friday to meet an acquaintance in Lancaster. He planned to do a few odd jobs for pay and make himself a soccer jersey. But his family grew increasingly alarmed when they couldn't reach the teen, and after getting inconsistent information from the acquaintance, they reported the teen as missing on Sunday. Robbery homicide detectives took over the missing persons investigation on Tuesday and received information that led them to the city of Oxnard. The next day, that's where LAPD located the body of a person matching Oscar Omar's description on a rural 2-lane road.
You never think that someone you know, someone close to you, would ever go through something like that, and just wondering how he felt in that exact moment. It makes you feel sick to your stomach.
LAUSD confirms the teen attended Sun Valley Magnet School. Today, some students wore black in his honor.
We were all texting each other. We couldn't even make it through,
Oh, bless them too, you guys. They said that he was really, really popular at his school, and that he was a standout soccer player, and he had so much life ahead of him. 13 years old. Think of all that we've accomplished in our lives since we were 13 years old. Well, only about 10 years for me after 13, but oh no, but seriously, guys, think about it. 13 years old, and he was a smart fella, and protected. These little girls said that he went out with them all the time and protected them and kept an eye on them because he didn't want anything to happen to them. And then something happened to him. Bless him.
classes without crying. He never failed to have a smile on everyone's faces. He was so fun. He was so energetic.
Long live Omar! The boy's father overcome by grief in Oxnard tonight, saying his son was young and had so much life to live. Now the family is left with a hole in their lives they say they cannot fill. His sister, Alejandra Hernandez Bautista, says Oscar Omar was originally from a small community in Honduras and was perhaps too trusting. Speaking through a translator, she spoke about the acquaintance her brother was visiting.
That man had no mercy at all for her brother,
Authorities are still waiting on the
No, he didn't have any mercy, and I hope that prison justice system, I hope they have no mercy on him either. I'll just tell you.
Ventura County medical examiner to officially identify the person found dead as Oscar Hernandez. Police have not released any suspect information. Reporting live in Sun Valley, Macy Jenkins.
Okay, I wanted to share that with you guys so that we could learn a little bit more from his classmates about Omar. And I want to just reiterate again that in my description are the numbers and the ways to contact if you know anything else about Oscar's case, or if you are unfortunately a victim of Mario Eduardo Garcia Aquino. They want you to reach out. Okay, now I want to tell you guys about the good portion, and it's bad news, and but it does have some good news too, so that's what I want to tell you guys about. So this is Angie, Mayra, and Ricardo. And she's on the left here, and it was 2 years old, and this happened on 3/24, so a week ago. 2 weeks ago probably. But and that is Ricardo, her big brother on the right, and he's 3 years old, and Mayra is 23 years old. And unfortunately, Mayra was found deceased on that morning. There was a fire, and then her body had, it was proven that it wasn't from the fire that she was deceased. So when they found her, they put out an Amber Alert for little Angie and Ricardo, and they found out that it was Mayra's boyfriend and the kid's father that had taken them. And the Amber Alert was issued at 5:15 on that day. And at 8:20, there was they had found them. So it was only 3 hours. And now I want to show you guys the video of it was 2 10th graders that ended up seeing it and calling it in. And 2 10th grade boys, and usually boys, when they don't pay attention to the news and stuff like that, but when they heard the Amber Alert, they saw the truck right away. They were in a remote part of a remote area, and so they actually didn't get the Amber Alert until 2 hours after it was first posted. And so they heard the Amber Alert right before they saw the truck. And so that's what I want to share with you guys now. And, people like this, he had just committed a murder, allegedly. So, I'm sure that people like that, they don't care to go out fighting, you know what I mean? And so we hear of these family tragedies all the time. So thank God that these 2 little 10th grade boys saw this car and called it in. And so that's what I want to share with you guys now.
The 2 children at the center of an Amber Alert out of Riverdale are safe with family tonight, thanks in large part to teens who spotted them in Utah County and called police. News specialist Sarah Martin joins us live now. She spoke with those teenagers. What did they have to say, Sarah?
These 2 16-year-olds from Springville were among the first callers Monday night. They said it was nerve-wracking, but they saw those 2 little kids and knew they had to help.
Oh, it was pretty surreal. It was intense.
Anders Holm and Dustin Pine are 10th graders. Monday night, Dustin was helping Anders deliver a promposal. When on their way home, they spotted a white truck pulled over.
Like, right after we saw them, we turned, and his Amber Alert went off.
In the spotty Canyon service, the alert came through almost 2 hours after the initial message. Riverdale PD were looking for an adult man and 2 small children.
Like, wait a second, you need to pull over. I need to reread that, because they looked like it.
The boys drove away to find cell service, then called police.
I think we...
And no offense, but I've noticed that boys, I had a little brother too, and it seems like they don't pay attention to what's going on around them very often. So that's good that they were paying attention to things like that too. And I'm not sure if it's this video or another video. I think it's this one that I watched because I watched two. But they called their mama and she said, well, call the police. And they said, well, we already did. So thank God that they called the police first, that they didn't call their mama or somebody else and ask what to do first, that they called the police first right away. Sunday says, I'm impressed with these two teens for see something, say something. Yes, we say that all the time. See something, say something. And these two boys did. So I'm very, very proud of them for that.
Found the people from the Amber Alert and we just described where they were.
I didn't want the kids to get hurt, so I was like, we have to do something.
Their second call was to Anders' mom, Heather.
We're like, are you sure? And we're like, go call the police. And they're like, we already did. So we were really proud of them for doing that.
Police arrived minutes later and arrested the suspect.
Oh, just trust your gut for sure. If you see something weird, you got to report it.
I asked both mothers what they did to make sure their sons were prepared to speak up in a scary situation, and they both told me they got really lucky with two great kids. And don't worry, Anders' prom date said yes. Reporting live, I'm Sarah Martin.
Well, that's good that his prom date said yes, too. And on another video I watched, you guys, they said that Ricardo's truck had broken down. And so who knows what he was about to do after this. He could have been looking to carjack somebody or anything. And so those two boys absolutely did good. So that was a little good news for us. Thank you all so much for coming to visit me today and listened about Oscar Omar's story, and we got a lot of takeaways from this. That we need to, well, you guys know it's about like it is all the time, that the justice system moves slowly, and this tragedy could have been prevented in so many various ways. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to visit me today. And thank you for my moderators coming to help me today too. And I just dropped Vanessa's link. If you guys could go visit her. I see people all the time when Vanessa is in different chats telling her what a good photography eye that she has, and nature, and how they enjoy going to look at her page. And it's springtime. Well, not today in Kentucky. I'll tell you guys, it was 80 not too long ago. And then today we had freeze warnings for this morning, 32 degrees. So it's not spring in Kentucky today, but hopefully it will be very soon. Technically it is, but not here in the holler, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so I think that she's getting ready to have a lot of, she says, I promise the spring flowers are coming. Yes. Absolutely. And I really enjoy seeing that. So you guys, please subscribe to her and go check out her channel for and she doesn't just post pictures. She tells us what kind of flowers they are, and she tells us all kinds. She knows so much about nature, and it's not from Google. Like, she knows it, and she checks herself too to make sure that she's telling us the right information, and it's not just from Google. Oh, I see that. Let me see if I can. I haven't tried posting anything. Oh, yeah, I see that. That's beautiful. I hadn't tried to, on Restream yet, I haven't tried to post comments up here yet. So that's cool. Yeah. And I also can put our chat up here, but I didn't want to cover up our little doggy today. That's why I didn't like StreamYard either, you guys. It kept taking away my doggy, and then it wouldn't even let me have a picture. So that's not going to work. So I think this worked out good today. Thank you guys for being patient with me when it took me a little bit to get things going here. But also, guys, please email me if you have any other stories that we can bring awareness to. I tried. Vanessa, can you do my email, please? It's explanation email. My phone just went dead, so I'm having difficulties. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to visit me today. And don't forget to say your prayers. We have a prayer of gratitude today that we need to say Um, for Sophia being found after 2 months, you guys. That was awesome. And her baby are healthy, they said. They were checked out at the hospital. So we need to give thanks for that. Hey, hippie chick, it's okay. Yep, we were just about to end. But it's okay. I'm so glad that you stopped by. Um, Thank you so very much. Thank you all so very much for and Aaron, you guys are just coming in at the very last second. It's okay. Thank you guys for stopping by. And there's Aries too. How are you, Aries? Death is a commingling of eternity with time. In the death of a good man, eternity is seen looking through time. You always have something good to tell us. And there's Chris C. How are you? Oh no, Aries. What's up, buddy? I hate to hear that. Um, you can reach out if you need to. I'll do my email there. You've got friends here, buddy. I need to start going live more than once a week. I feel like I bother people sometimes, and but you guys, I want to be here too. And plus, it takes me a long time to do all my research too, because I don't know how people just press the live button and go live. I don't want to feel like coming to class without my homework, you know. I understand, Chris. I totally understand. Sometimes I just feel like working too, you know. I absolutely feel you. Yeah, what's up, Aries? We're all here for you. Besides bringing, besides my points for my channel to bring awareness, I always tell my friends that it's to bring awareness and also to tell about how the victims personalize them more, and also be here for a community for each other. I was in another community before I came here, and I really enjoyed the sense of community. And my friend Erin, she said, well, you can have your own community. And so that's what I've been trying to do, you guys. Have a community here for us all, for everybody that, oh no. Bless your heart, Aries. I hate to hear that. I've been I've had an infection too, and sometimes the antibiotics, they suck while you're taking them. I know they're supposed to make you better, but they can cause depression too. I know it's crazy, but it seems like they make your other medicines not work as well, like your antidepressants and things like that. I know it might be crazy, but that's just my experience. So I hate to hear that, buddy. We're all here for you. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, in our prayers, absolutely. All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming to visit me today. And don't forget to say your prayers, absolutely, and take your vitamins too. We're almost on to good weather. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.